Fury Warrior's rotation is key to ensuring that we're doing the most DPS. We have a very specific rotation / priority list that we need to make sure we're doing. So we're going to go over it today and help you guys get that perfect rotation. Quickly before we start, I want to shout out my Twitch stream where we go live every Sunday, Tuesday and Wednesday from 7:30 to 11 PM UK playing WoW, answering all your Fury Warrior questions. And if you want to further support us, then please do consider giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel and turning on your notifications. Anyway, on with the video. So good afternoon, good evening, good morning champions, welcome back to another video, and this week we are looking at rotation and the Fury Warrior rotation. Thanks to you guys who voted for this. Each week I'll possibly be doing this and asking what you like, so if you enjoy the kind of having that input on the channel, let me down below and say that you enjoyed it. We're going to go over a number of different rotations, from your pull on a single target, your pull on a cleaving target, and then your single target rotation and your cleaving rotation. It will also be split up into two with using the Deathmaker legendary or the Signet legendary, because they're very different in how they work and how you need to activate certain abilities. So we'll go over that. We're going to do the entire thing on the PC. Bear with me whilst we're doing it. It's quite hard to speak a rotation as you're doing a rotation, but I've got some things on the screen as well. There's an add-on I'm using that's going to help you visualize what I'm casting. I'll also be putting up the usual infographics next to me when I'm over and talking. So before we go over to the computer, I'm just going to literally put that visual up next to me now. So our first one we're looking at is going to be our single target, which you can see here. Make sure you pause the screen so you can kind of screenshot it, remember it. Then we've got our opener, and then our next one is going to be our cleaving abilities, and then our cleaving pull, and that's what they look like. So screenshot those, pause on those if you needed to, scroll back a little bit in the video. But we're going to jump onto the computer now and we're going to see these in practice. Right, so here we are. We're in the Venthyr home. As I mentioned previously, there's a few things you'll need to have to kind of make this a little bit easier for you. This weak aura I have down here, there's a video link to it, which I'm pretty certain I've previously linked, or I will link now. This weak aura will help you knowing what to cast when you need to cast it. Also, to help you guys out, I've got an add-on that, as you can see, as I cast spells, it will show them up down here. As you can see, it's showing that I'm doing 3 whirlwinds. It's because it does it per hit per weapon. So do ignore that there's multiple ones. Just know if you see it once, I've cast it once. I'll talk over everything I'm doing as well as having this there as a reference for you guys to make it a little bit easier. But like I said, the key thing to have is having this weak aura, because it will help you prioritize the exact things you need to cast at the right times. But we'll get into that. From the get-go, this is going to be the setup that I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to be using the Deathmaker legendary with Bladestorm as my 45 talent, because I personally think it's better. Dragon Roar has no purpose, and Meat Cleaver, you do run out of things to cast. So this is the current talent setup, and this is the current legendary setup with Deathmaker. So we'll go over how it looks like with Deathmaker first. So we're going to start off with single target. I'm going to do it slowly first, so bear with the triggers that you see down here. I'm going to do it very slowly and then speed up so you guys can see it. So the first thing you want to cast, you're at 0 rage. This is single target. We're not charging in. This is not an opener. This is just single target. We're starting with a Bloodthirst. We've got a Condemn trigger, so we're casting that. We're doing 2 Raging Blows, and then we're doing a Bloodthirst again, a Condemn trigger, and then we can do the Rampage with our rage that we have, and then back in it again with a Condemn trigger. We've got a Bloodthirst, 2 Raging Blows. As you can see, we have a Rampage, so we can cast that. Condemn, Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, Rampage, Condemn, Bloodthirst. And as you can see with that one, I'm always making sure that I'm casting my Rampage before I'm casting my Condemn trigger. Although they're both lighting up at the same time, you don't want to waste rage by casting your Condemn over your Rampage, because Rampage needs to be got rid of first. So I'll do it a little bit quicker this time, and you can see it from like a faster perspective. Bloodthirst, we got a Condemn trigger, 2 Raging Blows, Rampage, Condemn, 2 Raging Blows, Bloodthirst, Rampage, Condemn, Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, and then a Whirlwind, because there's nothing left. So that's what that looks like. Next, I'm going to show you your opener for single target. So before I start this, I'm going to show you a couple of things that I have that change my initial one. So one of my trinkets is the Inscrutable Quantum Device. So this has a random ability that casts. However, the macro I have to make this work in line with my pre-pot is a macro, which is over here, which is use Potion of Phantom Fire first and then use my trinket. By casting Phantom Fire first, it will prioritize what the random ability is, and it will give you one that will benefit your potion in the long run. So that's what I cast first. If you don't have that trinket, you're just casting a Potion of Phantom Fire. So to start this, in your final 3 seconds of a cooldown timer, if you have a countdown timer, you're going to be pre-potting then. You are then going to cast Recklessness and then charge in. And then you've got a Condemn trigger off the bat. You have a Rampage, Bloodthirst, 2 Raging Blows, Rampage, Condemn, Bloodthirst, As I've said before, when it comes to this rotation, you want to be seeing it as a priority list over anything. So if something is lighting up on your weak core, you want to be casting that first, unless it's Rampage, and you want to make sure Rampage is always cast before anything else. We'll do that pull one more time so you can see the triggers for it. As I said, when you charge in with your Recklessness and you do a Condemn as your first ability, you usually get a Rampage as your first cast. Generally speaking, that will be how it works for everyone. So we do pre-pot, we do our Recklessness, charge in, Condemn, and straight into a Rampage, then into Bloodthirst, Condemn, Rampage, Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, Rampage. And as I've said before, the main thing you want to be focusing here is ensuring that you're casting the thing that your weak core is lighting up. If Condemn is lighting up, cast Condemn. If Raging Blow is lighting up, cast that. But you always want to be making sure you're getting to 80% Rampage so that you can cast off that Rampage. And that is your single target. That's your single target opener, as well as your single target general ability. As I've mentioned previously in some of my commentaries, through most fights you can usually cast 1 to 2 Recklessness, and you can also cast 1 to 2 pots as well, so make sure that you're doing that. Next, I'm going to show you Cleaving with the Deathmaker legendary, and then show you Cleaving with the Signet of the Tormented King, because they're very different. You don't want to mess this one up. So I'm going to be showing you your Cleaving ability and how you do a Cleaving Pull. Generally speaking, the first thing you want to be casting is Whirlwind, so you get your Whirlwind buff, which is tracked here by these 2 squares that you can see at the bottom there. The entire time you want to be making sure, again, that you're getting to 80 Rampage as quickly as possible, and I'll show you a couple of nuances within the Cleaving rotation that will change depending on what's happening. So we are going to do a Whirlwind, we're going to go into a Condemn, and then a Bloodthirst, Whirlwind, Raging Blow, and then you have that. You have your Rampage there. So pretty much the entire time you want to keep your Whirlwind buff up and be casting things such as Raging Blow, Condemn, and Bloodthirst. Your main priority is going to be casting a Bloodthirst and Condemn with Raging Blow to filler. And as you saw there was a time where my Rampage came when my Whirlwind wasn't on. Personally, I would Whirlwind again and then do it. So let's see if that happens again. Let's go in. We're going to Whirlwind, Condemn, Bloodthirst. Oh, we have the trigger, but actually we're going to do a Whirlwind and then cast Rampage, just so that we know it's hitting all targets, and then straight back into it. So Whirlwind, Raging Blow, Rampage, Whirlwind, Bloodthirst, Condemn, Whirlwind, Raging Blow. Again, I messed up that bit there, but if you have a Rampage trigger but you don't have your Whirlwind buff going, personally I would say Whirlwind first and then do your Rampage. If you're going into this from a pulling perspective, so if you're going to be charging in, you charge in, Whirlwind, and then go Condemn, Bloodthirst, Whirlwind, Raging Blow, and then you have a Rampage. Generally speaking, like I said, the main 2 spells are going to be Bloodthirst and Condemn and Raging Blow, but cast anything that you can cast whilst the buff is up. I'm going to keep going now so you can just kind of see it and be following the spells on the screen. As I said, if you get a Rampage trigger, Whirlwind first, just to ensure that it's on all targets. Again, if you have nothing left to cast, you've got your Bladestorm, so go with your Bladestorm. Again, with Bladestorm, just a nuance as far as Bladestorm is concerned, only cast Bladestorm if you're enraged. Again, if you've got the weak aura that I have here, you will know when you're enraged and you know if it's the right time to cast it. But that's also a good one to chuck in there. You can do that often on your pull, so you could pull, cast Whirlwind, then go straight into your Bladestorm and then do the rest of the rotation from there. And that's what it looks like. Now I'm going to show you the one nuance which comes with having Signet of the Tormented Kings, because it changes how you're meant to cast it. So let's pop that on. And with this one, by activating, as it says there, if you activate Bladestorm, Recklessness, or Avatar, it will randomly cast one of the other 2. Because it's random, you don't know what's going to cast first, so you don't want to cast Recklessness before you pull, because you could end up Whirlwinding. So what we do here is you would want to charge first and then Rampage, and then Recklessness, and then go into your rotation from there. What's going to happen is we'll wait for the next one to come through, because it could, like I said, what could happen is that you will just randomly cast Bladestorm when you're a mile away. So that's why you want to charge first and then cast Recklessness. So that is the difference when you're using Signet of Tormented Kings. It's very simple, as if you cast Recklessness before you charge, you might end up Bladestorming in the middle of the map and not actually get over there, and you'd end up really slowly moving over to your mob. So make sure you charge in first and then cast Recklessness, just in case that trigger happens. I wouldn't advise that in any other situation if you're not using Signet. However, because we have that currently equipped, you face that risk. But that's it. That's the rotations. They're the main rotations you have. Again, if you have anything else happening during your fight, you've got your interrupts, you've got your fears, you've got your rallying cries. Pass them as and when you need to, but the main damage rotations are those. So I hope that's been useful, and we'll head back to me sat over behind me. So I hope that video has been useful. It's quite, like I said, it's quite hard to film yourself saying a rotation whilst doing a rotation and trying to explain why you're doing the rotation all at the same time. But I hope it was useful. I hope that little add-on at the bottom was useful as well. If you want to know what that add-on was, let me get that down below, and I'll put a link to in the description for it. It's actually quite good for you to know if you're doing the right rotation by having that. And you can also see your parties, especially when you come to like PvP and things like that. This is quite a useful add-on to have. Been used quite a bit in there to see what other people are casting to make sure that your team are doing the right things at the right time. As I said, there are a few nuances in this, and as I tried to show there as well, there are a few nuances as far as like Signet's concerned, and the main thing is making sure that you have that weak aura. I linked it previously in the video, but having the weak aura for Fury Warrior is key because it helps you know what to cast at the right times. It makes you ensure that you're casting Condemn when it's triggered. It's making sure that you cast Rampage the minute that's ready to be cast, or if you've got additional casts on your Raging Blows, to get those out to get that additional rage. As I've said before and a million times, the only thing you need to do as a Fury Warrior is make sure you're getting to 80% rage and ensure that you're in rage the entire time. I showed you the talents that I'm using as well, and the talent Frenzy helps increase the duration on your enrage, which means that you are enraged pretty much all the time. From most of that footage that we filmed over there, I was enraged near enough the entire time, and that helps you have more damage overall. For any specifics as well about Fury, I've got a Fury Warrior guide up here. I've both got a load of guides on this channel. We've got things from Mythic Plus to just standard how to be a good Fury Warrior, so check out those videos if you do. If you enjoyed this video as well, please leave a like, comment and subscribe to the channel. Also make sure you turn on those notifications. Also join us over on Twitch. We had the advert thing at the beginning, but make sure you can join us there. It's lovely when you guys come out to there and ask questions live on there as well. As you can see above me right now, we have a credit roll going. This is a new thing we're doing. If you want to feature on this, these are the lovely people who support me over on Twitch. If you're a subscriber, you'll feature on the list. I haven't got a Patreon or anything, so this kind of feels like the next best thing to that. So if you want to support the channel further, remember, come over to Twitch and you can feature on there on a nice little credit list that's rolling above my head. But other than that, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you next week.